We are live. We are live. Hello, everyone.
What's up?
What's up? Happy Monday.
It is Uncut and Unleashed on Monday. It's time. We're going to be talking about some very important information today. I really encourage everyone that's watching, if you're watching on a party, if you're watching on our pages, to please participate. Write stuff in the comments. Hearts, likes, dislikes, whatever emoji you feel like hitting, hit it. But it is extremely important that you guys listen to what we're going to talk about today. Yvette, Lewis, and I were on a really informative call last week with other venue owners. And we just thought it was really important for us to come on today and explain the rules and the regulations, also paint the picture for our couples of what it's going to look like reopening the doors and at venues. And I also want to just really talk about this topic because everyone's going to do whatever they want and feel like they can do whatever they want. But there are rules, there are regulations. Yes, they're not very clear, but they're there. And I wanted to bring on two other wedding experts to kind of go through this. So with that being said, I'm Geovanna Burgess White. I am the owner of Mia Bella Houston, and I also host Just Engage University podcast. With me, I have Yvette Valdenegro and Lewis Grell. I let them do a quick introduction so that you can see who they are and what they do. Yvette, you want to go first?
Yes, I'm Yvette Valdenegro. I own Pop-Up Wedding Houston. I also co-host with Geo on the Just Engaged. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. Happy to be here and continuing. I just want to put a little blurb. Well, I'll let Lewis go first and then I'll stop with my blurbs. But that's me. Welcome.
Lewis Grell with LG Event Entertainment and Production. Just a DJ. Love to play some live stream music lately. Been having like little weddings here and there and stuff like that. So been keeping busy. And then of course, that's me.
I love it. So if you just joined us, we are talking about venues reopening in Texas today. We are going to have a very uncut and unleashed conversation. And again, participate. Hearts, likes. I need comments. This is the time. If you're watching us on the replay, please make sure you put replay in the notes so that we can answer those questions as they come through. So I will let you take us through this, Yvette.
All right. So this was my blurb I was going to say. Just to remind everybody, this is Uncut and Unleashed. And Geovanna and I came up with that name because we wanted to keep it real. We want to keep it real with couples. We want to keep it real in the wedding industry. We want to keep with vendors, with our thoughts, whatever. It's unleashed. There's no holding back. What are you stretching the background? Because it's like he's ready for his. Come on, bring it on.
It's about to get crazy, you know what I mean?
It might.
Yeah,
it might.
I'm looking at so I'm on live on LG's page, so I'll be comments there and just kind of like translating it or transferring it to over here and whatever not.
I love it. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's just kind of begin. Where did this all start from?
What's up, man?
The obvious dumb thing is COVID. COVID has brought us to the reality of things got shut, or the event industry just got shut down in general, which meant the wedding industry, which meant now we as vendors and owners of our businesses went to complete halt. Recently, Governor Abbott and our city have been saying, yes, we can open up again. And we've slowly went from staying at home to now opening up the doors to restaurants and essential businesses and venues and blah, blah, blah. We all know that.
Can we talk about that for a second, though?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like,
bring it on.
I think that was some bullshit. I think that I honestly think that he handled it very badly, right? And the reason why I say this is because, right, some people they were like, "Oh, Lewis, you're not an essential business." I'm just like, okay, so if I'm supposed to shut down, right, that means I can't talk to you. That means my business has to remain open in order for us to be able to reschedule all these weddings. Right? That means I have to check the mail and still pay my taxes. Right? I mean, so I think that whole thing was handled incorrectly, and my landlord here, Hartman, is actually suing the governor and there's a couple other businesses that are doing the same thing too as well. So I think that that portion of just essential businesses being shut down, I think it was handled badly. You know what I mean, with our states. That's just my 2 cents. You know, because I still had to operate business.
I still had to operate business.
Yeah.
Yvette we were still doing tours, virtual tours, consultations, emails, the wedding, like all of that doesn't stop, but we had to.
For us, we were still doing events, but it wasn't like the same. We still had to go within regulations. I still had to be distance away from people, you know? So it's kind of like, not only that, I mean, I am an essential business, right? Because when those guys go live in the city, they call for production companies like us to do staging and whatever the case may be. So it's kind of like, it's just a really, sometimes clients don't get it, right? And it's just, I feel for them, right? They want to have a beautiful wedding, and I completely understand that, right? But that's why us as vendors, you know what I mean? We just say, hey, please do not try to get refunds from us. Please reschedule your weddings to a further date. That's going to be accommodating to both you and I. So sure. I just have to get that off my chest. Sorry.
Well, thanks for getting that off your chest and your 2 cents. We love it, which gives us the lead into why we're here, because of the whole, once the venues said that they were going to open, or we were allowed to open, that brought on the whole idea of what the hell does that mean? And we're 3 individuals in the wedding industry, 3 individuals who have connections with other people in the wedding industry. And we all started hearing all different kinds of opinions, thoughts, ways to open. People, you have both sides, venues that are completely going to open. It does not matter. Even though we're supposed to be at the 25%, it's being stretched because that 25% says it's the total of your indoor and outdoor space. Well, if someone has a 1,600 person capacity in their venue and now they can open at 25%, that's a 400 person wedding. That's a big ass wedding. See, Lewis, we're keeping it unleashed.
Hey, let's fucking keep this unleashed as fuck.
It's true that wait. I feel like, Hoda and Jenna and Hoda in the morning, and like they have to go, okay, for all the parents that are out there, you might want to turn down your radio to know there might be some inappropriate words spoken with this subject. But anyway, back to reality. Now we have the thought process of moving forward. Great. Everybody wants to move forward, but how do we make this happen? So we are going to discuss, to the best of our ability, both spectrums as to the who, what, when, where, and why, and how to move forward. And then most importantly, things to be thinking about. And it is going to be uncut and unleashed. I want to say in the very beginning, we do not represent the entire wedding industry. We are not lawyers. We are not God. These are 3 people who are giving their opinions as to what we think is going to be the best, or bringing things to the table to talk about, which I think is, whenever there's a commotion, chaos, or whatever, the best thing to do is to talk and communicate about issues. So that's why we're here. So let's get started. And Geovanna, I think I'm going to let you start, because I know that you have some really great stuff that you'd like to share. And just give us a little nugget as to what one of your thoughts are.
Yeah.
We got a first question in at the end.
Let's do it.
Okay. It looks like it's not part of our topics, but Gata was like, does anybody know what will happen with the Bridal Expo that's going to be in July?
Very good question. Do you want to answer that? Because I already have an answer, but.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we don't know yet, because right now the facilities, venues, entertainment areas that do open are going to be testing what happens for July. So if anyone's saying that they are 100% cleared to host that event, it has not yet been finalized. So I know venues are already open. Some are opening this weekend. Some are opening this month. We will know based on what happens with these other venues and how they run their business. If they run it to the standards and regulations, then we're in a test phase right now. So everything right now, pretty much through June, is a test phase.
Okay.
So I will get started. I did post here. You guys can, everything that I have that I'm going to be either quoting, reading from is on that link. I want to make sure that venue owners, vendors, and guests and couples all know that there are four sections in Texas ReOpening under Governor Abbott's orders that we fall in. So one of them is wedding attendees. So if you have wedding attendees,
When you say we,
yes.
You mean venues we, or you mean all vendors we, like
All, everyone.
Everybody.
So if you're a vendor or if you're a guest, there is a section for you to read and understand that these are the rules and regulations that we are supposed to open with. So if I decide to open my doors in 2 weeks, this is what I should be following. So there's going to be one for wedding attendees, one for wedding reception venues, one for wedding venues, and the other one is the restaurant regulations, because right now we're following under what restaurants are doing. So a lot of people haven't read this, because when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, whatever, we're just going to open the doors and do what we need to do. So I'm not going to go through all that, but I really would say if you're a venue owner or if you're hosting a wedding at a venue, that you should read this with your employees, because it is at 25% capacity, which Yvette just talked about, from your indoor and outdoor space. That does not include your staff and vendors. So staff and vendors are different. They're not part of the 25%. So you have to now understand that we're looking at more people in the building.
Is he putting us under the restaurant category?
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is also the black and white area for bars, like where the bars are not allowed to open yet, but yet we have bars at our weddings. So there's no.
He didn't put us in the restaurant category in the beginning when this whole safe order thing, right?
Well, it just got updated.
Is that correct?
It got updated like 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
I know that, but like in the very beginning, we weren't considered as part of the restaurant category.
No.
He didn't know what the fuck category we were. We were like that. Hello.
Everybody was in one category.
Yeah. Everybody was in one category type of thing, which that's the part that messed everything up for a lot of the small businesses and whatever.
Right. We weren't even in a opening or a phase or in a category until 2 weeks ago. So those four sections are extremely important, because that is going to tell what weddings should look like going forward. So for everyone that thinks that we can just open up our doors at 25% capacity and it go back to how it was, is not a thing. That is just not a thing. I want to make that very clear. And I don't want, and again, it comes from a place of love and education, because I don't want to risk anyone's life for a day that's supposed to be extremely special that we can't even recreate 100%. So with that being said, I kind of wanted to and I want to do that at the end, walk you through what a wedding should look like. But I think it's important to go through what we talked about, which are the pros and the cons of why we should wait, or we should reschedule, or we should really make sure that we're following these guidelines, and who is responsible, because that's the number one question that's been asked in every single one of these groups. Who is responsible for making sure that the guidelines and the rules are being followed? Because we don't have wedding police. So that's what we need to talk about right now, because wedding venues are like, oh, well, if we're all in this together, but then wedding planners are like, no, definitely not in this together. The caterers have their own set of rules and regulations. Bars don't even know where they fall in. And then we have to have additional staff for screening. We have to take temperatures. We have to have extra staff for cleaning and sanitation. I also want to make it a point that it's going to cost more money to host a wedding now. We will not be able to do buffets. We will not be able to have self-serving stations. So does the client know, do these couples know, on top of everything, we can only do 25% of your guest count, and you're going to pay more money because we're going to have additional staff. We're going to have additional, go ahead.
GM.
Stop me.
No, it's like,
yeah.
Your first point was...
You just went over all the topics just now.
Yeah. Reel her back in. Okay, no, perfect. Your first thing that you said, let's talk about it. I want the two of you to talk about it. Venue, we're going to have the wedding. Brides want to have the weddings. Who is ultimately responsible for obviously opening up the doors? That's the venue. They open up the doors. But the safety, the health, the cleanliness, any outcomes, someone getting sick while they're there, who ultimately should be or shouldn't be, whatever, however you're going to talk about this, responsible for just the overall picture? Where does that responsibility really lie?
So that, like, are you asking G or are you asking me, or is just whatever?
How about we'll go with you first, because
So
we'll just go with you first.
so back in the day, we talk about pre-COVID, right? If somebody gets sick at a wedding, right? Depends on what that sick is. It's like if it's like a stomach virus and you know what I mean, whatever not, then it's a person to catering company type of scenario, right? And I think that with this whole COVID pandemic thing happening, I think it really will be stuff that's enforced in the law and enforced by health code, to where I think that's the catering company and or venue will be the ones to take the fall, which sucks.
Okay.
Okay.
So, no, I think it's great because, again, we've seen it from the catering companies are following their guidelines. Their staff is wearing gloves. Their staff's wearing masks. They do have to serve the food now. There is no buffet lines. They have to go and serve. They have to serve the water. They have to do the refills. They have to do the busing. So I can see that. But what happens when a couple tells the wedding coordinator, well, no, I don't want to do that.
Or how do you even prove that they got sick at that wedding and not like at the gas station when they were pumping gas and then decided to touch your face? You know what I mean? That's where that gray area falls, to where it's kind of like, because like obviously there's people out there that are looking to make an extra dollar off of suing, you know what I mean, the venue or whatever the case may be, right? But then it just leaves a lot of gray area for sure.
Well, and putting other vendors in a situation they don't want to be in right now. So what if, again, I'm the venue owner, but what if I'm a wedding planner and I'm not comfortable with hosting my client's wedding, next week, because I don't want to be the first to go. And I walk in and yes, I signed a new contract and my client signed a new contract and we understand what the rules and regulations are. But all of a sudden we have people getting together for pictures, tagging us on in selfies, and the bride and the groom are like, oh, you don't have to take temperatures. Like, who is at that time in an event like this, because the police, and this has been stated that the police officers that are there are not to be enforcing these rules, and they will not be enforcing these rules. That is
they
not
didn't enforce rules before COVID. They're not going to do it now.
Well, that too.
They're to get that chick at the end of the night, and they're going to bounce.
Yes.
Unless somebody got like murdered or whatever, they're like, we good. Bye.
No, they go to the bar first and then they bounce. Okay, so again, something goes wrong. A list, we can come up with a huge list of things that can go wrong. Who ultimately is liable for that? Someone gets sick. You're pointing to Geo
pointing at me.
That way? Am I pointing this way? Wait.
Yeah.
And not Geo, but the venue. So
here's a reason why, right?
Just say it.
This is Uncut and Unleashed. There goes the stretches again.
I'm gonna say this story for later. I don't want to talk about this story.
Okay.
But ultimately, yes, I would be responsible because I opened the doors. I decided to have the event. If I do not, and then this is something. Go ahead.
Here's an example, right?
Okay.
Fire marshal code says that you cannot have lit candles in the ballroom, right? Bride really wants candles on her table. Okay. Guest knocks over the candle, right? The table goes in flame, and your venue burns down. Who's responsible?
100%. The venue.
And now take it a step further. If that venue had in their insurance policy that they're not allowed to have lit candles, but the fire was started by a lit candle and someone can prove that the lit candles were actually on the table, the venue will not get their insurance money.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Oh, April. Okay. So April's saying, hold on. I got one in. April says, I think everyone should cover themselves with PPE and insurance, vendors and venue owners as well. Correct. That is a solid, that is perfect. They should. And I mean,
I got another comment over here from Ian also as well. So
okay. But here's something that we've talked about, and and Yvette knows. Our lawyers have said, yes, completely different contract now. Like it's an addendum to a brand new contract. And B, the client has to send out a waiver saying these are the new rules and regulations. You come to this wedding, this is what's going to happen. You will get your temperature checked. You will leave if you have a fever, and anyone in your household. You do have to abide by the rules. And if they don't sign that, they can't come. Just like when I take my kids to the bouncy place or whatever, when I take my son to go paintballing, I have to sign a waiver saying that they are not responsible for any injuries, death. And so it's going to be a new weight. Most venues aren't going to do that. I promise you that. They're going to be like, oh, that's so tacky. Okay, great. That may be tacky, but we're insuring ourselves, we're insuring the guests, and we're also insuring our couples. Because if they decide to have a wedding and break the rules under our time, and we're not covered, it is our fault. That's just how it works.
Yeah. So going back to what Lewis was saying, now just fast forward to a wedding where, say, you're supposed to be doing, I don't know, I'm just going to make up something, the social distancing where there's 6 people to a table. But yet, again, like Lewis said, well, there's a bride that goes, no, I have to have my tables of 8 because that's how I planned it. My budget will only allow me to do 8 tables because of centerpieces, blah, blah, blah. And the venue says, okay, yeah, we'll let it slip this one time. Say a bunch of people get sick. Now people come back. Who's ultimately responsible for allowing that rule to be broken?
Venue.
This way.
We are.
Venue.
Yeah.
Venue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when people think venue owners that are waiting or venue owners that are going to secure and have a really tight contract are crazy, this is why. This is the whole reason why. And to come up with a photographer who puts something on there, I am going to take pictures at this wedding. I have to practice the social distancing rules. I have to make sure that the group pictures that I do take are for the people that are in the same household. Well, who's going to have a list? Is there going to be a wedding bouncer going, okay, next I have Susie, Joe, Marie, they're in the same household. They can take a picture with the bride. What if the bride and groom go, I want a group picture? Or you know what? The photographer is going to have to say no, because their name is on that. They're taking the pictures and it's being documented. And I know that this sounds so crazy, you guys, but we are about to walk into, lawyers are waiting for us to open these doors. They're waiting for us to make a mistake.
Chrissy,
Okay, well, I just want to say this as we're moving forward in this discussion. I want to welcome, because obviously Geo has her very strong opinion. I'm trying to stay the mediator. But if there are venue owners out there that are listening, that are opening up their doors, that are just like, we're not taking these things in consideration, we're just going to do whatever our clients say, or we're just going to open up doing whatever. We want to know your opinions. We want to know your thoughts. Send in. If you don't want to be called out, we won't say who you are, but if you have a reason behind why you are opening, and I will say, let me just say this one statement, because we did talk about this. We understand, because we are all business owners. We understand the number one reason for, besides that we love what we do, to open up our businesses is because, yes, financially we need to. Let's just get that out there. Duh. We all need to financially open up the doors to get the business generated, to keep our businesses going. So we understand that. But above and beyond that, if you have an opinion or would like to share why, like the other thought processes, please put them in the comments. We will not call you out, but we'll at least state your reasonings. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Lewis, what were you going to say? You said somebody else had something on there.
Ian said, let's see, where was it at? Wouldn't your identification clause cover you if someone gets sick? What do you think about that?
I'll say this. I don't think so, because, okay, let's just take Harvey. or all the floods that we've had. So people had insurance for certain things, but then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, insurance, but not for. Or if it doesn't say in there now that it covers terrorist attacks, COVID, pandemics, or whatever, then you're not going to have insurance because their way out is going to say, but if it says specifically in your insurance coverage, those items, which moving forward, now people are going to have, just like they did with the flooding, all of a sudden it's going to be very technical, then no, it's not in there.
And what's crazy is that, with contracts, I know this because I've been to court and whatever not, right? You have to, the first thing the judge is going to see if the contract is very weighted on both sides to where it's fair on both ends of the table. If your contract is heavily favored in your ends, even though that bride signed that contract with you, the judge will throw out your agreement out the window like it's trash. It'll be like, nah, you know what I mean? You don't know shit. You didn't have a lawyer look over this. So. And
to answer Ian's question, the only way we would be covered is if our new contracts that our couples sign going forward do state that we are not responsible for any guests getting sick from COVID, and they have to sign that, and then the guests still have to sign a waiver. So it's covering us with the client, but then the client has a responsibility, the couple has a responsibility to send us out and say, if you are RSVPing to my wedding and you get sick on the premises, in the parking lot, where we as a couple are not liable, and the venue and any vendor staff contracted are not liable. So you have decided to put yourself in this situation. That is what that is stating. So that's the only way a venue can be covered or a vendor can be covered. And it can be done, but are people going to sign it? That's the question. Is anyone going to sign that?
Right. So I think in order to weigh it evenly on our ends, what we have to do is say, hey, each one of our staff members will properly use gloves, mask, you know what I mean? Be temperature tested. And I don't know, as far as ensuring that they haven't traveled or anything like that, they have been quarantined, you know what I mean? So definitely there has to be a clause in there to where it's kind of like, hey, we are playing safe. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that you're playing safe too as well. Man, that COVID section is probably going to be a little long too.
Okay. No, go ahead with the question. I'll just say it real quick and then you can go with the question.
Go for it.
Let's just be real. And obviously I come from the wedding planning part of this statement. It is harder than hell to get people to RSVP what they want to eat. So when you put in your beautiful stationery, it has the RSVP card, asks you very politely, what would you like to eat? Are you a fish person, a chicken person, or a steak person? People don't even reply to what food they want to eat. Do you know how hard it's going to be to get every single person to sign a waiver before they get there? It's almost like now it's become almost like a concert or an event. You get there, take your temperature, sign the waiver, do this.
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, it's just.
It's more like, hey, look, RSVP, if yes, then I need you to sign this waiver whenever you come to the wedding.
Well, and here's the thing. I do this for birthday parties, with all of my kids. So they can't go to the birthday party, or they can't go paintballing. They can't do any of this. They can't go. My son can't go shoot guns without me signing a waiver. So it is going to be the new norm. It should be the new norm. This isn't like let me think about it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it doesn't work. No, it has to work. Because if it doesn't, who's liable? Mm-hmm. And it also, but people don't understand, whoever is tied to that wedding, and that all of a sudden it says, so-and-so venue, break out, they open their doors, everybody is tied to that wedding as a vendor. The wedding planner, the baker, they don't care. This is what people want. And we haven't even talked about what it really should look like. Do any couples, once they read these rules and understand what it's supposed to look like, what we can do, what we can't do, are you going to want to get married? Do you want to have a wedding like that?
I was just going to say, so let's just go with these waivers. So yeah, Lewis, you can put on there, everybody has these great websites. This is my registry. What do you want to eat? And now sign the waiver. Okay, let's just be real. Not everybody's going to sign the waiver. So now you have to have your house party is going to be standing in front of the ceremony with iPads, like an event. I'm sorry, what is your name? Oh, you're Bob. Okay, Bob, did you sign the waiver? Okay, you can come in. What is your name? I'm Cindy. Okay, Cindy, I'm so sorry. Could you take some time to read this waiver and sign it before you go into the ceremony? How else are you going to make people do that?
I mean, it has to be done, right? And it's one of those things where like it's like a checklist. Okay, you didn't sign the waiver online. You need to go online and sign the waiver before you come in, because we're not going to hand you a piece of paper. We're not going to hand you a metal pen or anything like that to sign. You need to go back to your car, get on your phone, sign the waiver, and then stand back in line to check to see if you're on the list, and then we can let you in. And we're going to check your fucking temperature to make sure you're under 100 degrees.
And if anybody that came with you, if you have a temperature, guess what? Nobody can stay, because that's what's going to have to happen. But I want to bring up another point, because venues did open, and I have thank you, April, for participating in this conversation. She is a vendor, and this is important because venues not only did they not call their clients, and I'm not calling out what venues these are, they texted their clients, "Oh, we're okay to move forward," without speaking to any of their vendors beforehand. Then the couples are reaching out to the vendors saying, well, the venue told me they're available and we're ready to go. Didn't explain new rules or regulations. Didn't say anything. Well, guess what happened to these vendors? These vendors then called the venue and said, hey, I didn't know that we were ready to open. I didn't agree to, these new rules and regulations. I need you to sign this waiver for me saying that we're not responsible. Guess what the venues did? Oh, no, we're not doing that. So April says that venue owners and vendors will have to work more as a team more than ever now to clearly understand what's going on. Yes, 100%. Venue owners will have to play the bad cop. This is important. And I agree. We have to put those standards and policies and procedures into place. This will be challenging, lots of communication. And so it's really good to hear vendors or venues talking about it. Yes. Because I would have died if I was a wedding planner and my couple would have called me or texted me and said, hey, the venue says we can have our wedding in 2 weeks. What? And it's happening, because this is things that are happening. I have other wedding planners that work at other venues that are like, what do I do? The number one thing is the safety of your clients and your staff. Like, I don't understand what else there is other than that. Like, guests, clients, staff, that isn't. And if you're just thinking, because this is the mindset, that it's just, I'm going to open my doors and we're going to go back to normal. It cannot be done. And if it does, I'm going to say it. The people who are doing this to us now, the venues that are opening up right away, the couples that are wanting to have these weddings are going to shut us down this fall. And guess what? We will not make it out of another season. Yep. And that's why it's so important that you have to see it, breathe it, and like listen to what your wedding will look like. This is going to be your wedding, and we will paint the picture. If you're okay with doing that, there's still a possibility that people are going to get sick, but no one's going to want to do that. Everyone's going to turn their head. No one's going to say anything. And 3 weeks from now, guess what's going to happen? A month from now, 6 weeks from now, the more and more people start to do it, we're going to get shut down. And venues will make it.
This is where I'd like everybody to send thumbs up, hearts, or thumbs down, letting us know what they think. And if they want to have us say something back to all that, because you just said a lot of really important, strong things, that this is where we would like the interaction. Go ahead, Lewis.
Here's another scenario. This is, I won't mention no names at all, right? So we'll censor the names. Yeah.
We're not.
It's going to call out a venue. I'm not trying to do that, right? So wedding guests, wedding happens at this venue, and a guest trips, right? And basically she sprains her ankle or something happens, right? Later on, she ends up trying to sue the venue. Bride's like, I don't want nothing to do with this. I'm going to stay out of it. My aunt's crazy, da-da-da-da, right? So in a scenario, right, you know what I mean? Let's say if we bend or break the rules and, you know what I mean, for a bride or whatever not, right? You might have that one guest that will put you on that snitch website with the city, and then next thing you know, you have FBI or whoever the hell, right?
Not the FBI, but yes.
Right. My sister's telling me to stop cussing, so I'm you know what I mean?
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? You'll have a guest that's going to sit here, or maybe they're like, ooh, I don't like the way they serve that drink. You know what I mean? Boom, and I'm gonna snitch out this venue. Da 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 da.
That's already happened going to restaurants. Yvette and I just had that conversation on Friday. Like, people at restaurants aren't even following the rules and regulations. So yes, I think that's a valid point. But forget the guests. There's going to be a lot of vendors and other couples that are stuck in this limbo going, that venue open, that was supposed to be my date, I was supposed to have a wedding. That, vendors that are still not wanting to open, just like there's restaurants that still don't want to open, that are protecting themselves, but at the same time are watching other people break the rules. And guess what? We are literally just waiting to see how bad it's going to get, because nobody wants to follow the rules. Everybody just wants to go back to normal, and nobody wants to talk about it. Like, I don't understand why. Change is not always good, but change happens. And if we don't address it, again, the safety of our teams, our staff, that's one of the most important things to me, other than my couples, is my staff, all of them. I mean, I employ over 11 vendors. Am I going to put them in that type of situation where they're going to feel uncomfortable? And then we will never be able to present a wedding like it was before COVID. Don't put those expectations on us. Don't tell us to do these certain things, because it's not real. It's not what it can be.
Gio, I want to say, even though I'm supposed to be more of the mediator in this, I will speak on behalf of the venues, even though I'm not a venue owner. But from what I hear, listen, the big word is fear. The reason people are not stepping forward with what their true opinions are as far as their own safety moving forward is because they're fearful that if they are the ones that say, hey, this isn't comfortable for me, I'm going to not open my doors or whatever, guess who gets mad? The client. And when a client gets mad at you, the first thing they do is say, I'm not happy. You're not working with me with your services. This isn't, you're moving forward. I don't know if I want to work. I want my deposit back or whatever. And then that fear factor just builds up. And now it's like, well, I'm going to write a bad review. I'm going to talk about your company. You're a bad person. You're a bad company in the city. And people need to know that you're not working with me and not doing what I want you to do. Forget that you're wanting, you're looking at the bigger picture. And that I may have just stepped on a lot of toes. Okay. But I think that people need to understand it is actually the venue's option to facilitate and run their businesses as they think is best for everybody at hand. And they have to understand, or both sides have to understand, what's really at stake here. Yeah, there's a lot of finances that are at stake, but there's also safety issues that are at stake too. But I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are reacting out of fear. And I don't know, that's my perception of what I hear. And people, I welcome, again, people keep bringing in your comments, but the fear factor, which I don't think is fair, because this isn't a time to be reacting in fear or be worried about someone's going to get mad at you, that you're thinking about everybody's general well-being. They should be actually thankful that someone's taking the time to go, wow, is this really in the best interest of everybody?
Agreed. I agree. And I know you're not trying to take the venue side of it, but where's the line that we draw between, yes, we do need to keep on running our businesses, but is it worth getting other businesses shut down, like all these venues shut down, because that happens? Is that what it's worth? Or do we wait, or do we play by the rules? Because the rules are what's hard. And
that opens up another topic, a profitable business, right? So you got to think of restaurants over here. They can't even, you know what I mean? They can only do 25% capacity, right? But then how the hell are they supposed to pay the bills with just 25%? Like, I just think that's crazy.
Well, yeah. And maybe it's time to move into some of the other things that we wanted to talk about, as far as just not only some constructive, good ideas moving forward, things to consider all around. And then what Lewis just said, the bottom line is there's an expense. There's an expense to the change. There's an expense to making sure that people are healthy and safe. And bringing that to the table is important too. So, oh my God.
Hi, Mike. Welcome to our live.
I wanted to make sure y'all knew I didn't have no animals here. So that's my.
Hi, Mike.
Was that the dog sound we heard in the back? So anyway, Gio, this would be a good time to, maybe talk about a few, then we can talk about them and bring up some more and talk.
Well, and I talked about this earlier, and this again is not just going to affect the wedding industry. It's going to be the cost of what things used to be in any of our industry change. It already is changing. We're seeing this with hairdressers, nail salons. Like, you are having to pay a little bit more or a lot more when it comes to a wedding, based on we are going to have additional staff for temperatures. We're going to have additional staff just for cleaning. They cannot be the same staff. You have to have separate staff for that. Then you're going to have additional staff for your catering, right? Because you can't do buffets anymore. Then, because the bar is still very black and white, bars are technically not supposed to open unless you're going to have the X's on the floor, or the little feet on the floor that say 6 feet away. You're going to have 2 to 4 people get up in line. So that means additional servers, additional bartenders serving the tables. So that's just an expense of its own. So what people already paid for these weddings.
Cups. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Anything.
I was at a restaurant yesterday, and kids were acting crazy or whatever not, right? So because of the whole COVID thing and the distance of the tables, obviously there's empty tables around us. So I was just like, shit, put the fajitas on that table. You know what I mean? Give us some space. So I took advantage of the scenario, but wifey got served a styrofoam cup with the salt on the rim. I was just like, okay, this is classy. I can do it. Sure.
It's just the new norm of, so couples are going to be like, wait, I have to pay more money for a wedding that wasn't this expensive 4 or 5 months ago. Well, yes, because you're paying for the additional staff. You're paying for cleanliness, for the safety. And most people are not going to want to do that. I mean, it's just a thing. They're going to be like, I don't want to pay for more staff, but we're going to need that. The other thing that's going to be different is the look and the feel. The dancing has still not been approved. So how are you going to social distance dancing? And being in the same household can only sit together at the ceremony or at a table. So when you're at your ceremony and you walk out there to be seated, there has to be somebody with a seating chart for the ceremony. You have to have 2 chairs in between, so you will have empty seating. So when your photographers are taking pictures of the ceremony, you're not going to want to have a family of 4 and then 2 and then 2 empty seats and then 2 people and then 2 empty seats. But that's what we have to do if we follow the guidelines.
I got 2 comments on my end.
Yes.
Rebecca, she's like, cost of flowers is going up due to the growers actually going under. So that's gonna be a crazy effect that we're gonna see.
Another cost.
Yeah, another cost, right? Thanks, Rebecca, for chiming in on that. And then Christine, she goes, my gut instinct is to react regarding everyone's health. This is probably a topic that we had. She says she's been emailing and calling the venue. No name on the venue. I'm going to be shooting in 2 weeks. In case anybody doesn't know, Christine sounds like a photographer. It's not a live shooter or anything like that. And it's hard getting answers going to it. So, I think this is definitely a game changer for sure. And we're about to really find out, what's going to be that new norm. It's kind of like, what we talked about on the conference call last week, where we had to get almost butt naked just to get past security at the airport,
I love that you're so uncut and unleashed. You're really great for the show.
We got to get butt naked in the venue. You know what I mean? We got to,
It's the truth, but that's the thing.
Yeah, it is the truth.
And you're also going to have to pay for more time.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay for more time. If your ceremony starts at 6 o'clock, you're going to have to tell your guests to arrive at 5:15, 5 o'clock. So that's more time.
And the restroom game is going to change too. It's like, can you now have a handle on the restroom?
You have to have someone there cleaning right after everyone goes. And you can't pay that person $10 an hour. Let's get something straight. Whoever is your bathroom attendant, because that's what's going to have to come down to. There's going to have to be a bathroom attendant. That person's.
Are you going to have one of those where they can get cologne and gum and?
No, that's too many things to be.
That's too expensive.
Oh, bro, come on, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so it was Rebecca, right, who mentioned the floral cost?
Yes.
Going up? Okay, so now just think, she's probably has a contract I shouldn't say probably, she does have contracts. She has pricing in that contract, and this is what it costs to have a wedding with her for the flowers. Now, moving forward, it changes wholesale, blah, blah, blah. Do you think it's fair? And this, I know my own opinion, I'm just asking. Do you think it's fair that someone like a florist comes back and says, I know I quoted you this, but now it's going to be that. And by the way, I can't get these flowers, but this, and it's a bigger cost. And how should that be handled?
I think that in some of the floral contracts, it's already built into it to where the when they order flowers at the on the tail ends, that it might go up, or the flowers are probably not in season, so they have to substitute to something else. I don't know. I'm assuming, right? But I'll see what Rebecca says, or maybe I'll call her or whatever. Not.
Yeah.
But if there's any other florists, please.
If she can comment on in any of these posts in the watch parties, we'll go back and read those and put those out. But yes, I mean, this is the education piece for the couples. It will not cost the same. It's going to cost you more. And when you were saving money on buffets, or when you're had venues who were allowing, let's even go there, allowing you to bring in your own food, that can definitely not happen. I mean, look at what we're.
Sorry, Rebecca said, I don't think we can do that. And then Nadine made a comment. She goes, food costs have gone up as well. How do caterers deal with the increase of costs on the product that has already been contracted? We had some ingredients almost double in cost. Nadine is who made the cake, right? Shout out to Nadine.
Thank you, Nadine. Yes, that's at the restaurants too. All restaurants, they're not getting.
Okay, so is Rebecca saying that she doesn't think it's gonna happen, that she can now increase her contract with her clients?
I guess it's might be something to where they might change it because of this, or it's never been done before, and they might, you know what I mean? So we'll see what's up. We'll just kind of, I guess.
Well, and Nadine had a great, I mean, it really goes cross board. Nadine had a great point. I mean, even wedding planners, I know I always bring an assistant, but I need to bring 2 or 3 more just because I need more hands to be doing different things. So as the cost goes up, then again, so it's a question out there that goes both ways. Who incurs that cost? Because if it's the vendors who do, now we're providing more services for our clients to have their weddings at our cost. So if you were charging someone $10 to at your venue, and now let's just say your cost went up another $1, and you're like, I really need to be charging them. Your take home, you just lost another $1 because now it's your response. So it's now the wedding industry's responsibility to absorb the cost of COVID. That's a question. Like it can go both ways. I mean, everyone can have their different opinions, but again, we're trying to educate so that if people do in their contracts are finding, wow, someone just charged me an extra whatever, maybe this will set the process in motion to think these things through on both sides.
And I'm in the process of updating all of my contracts with clients that I've already booked. And that cleaning fee that they had before was to clean the venue after they left. There will be now another fee that they will incur because we have to have these employees there cleaning at the time. Just like they were quoted for buffet, well, no longer will there be buffet. There will be this. So
it might be a good thing because where the buffet occupied space, you can put more tables now. So sorry.
Yeah. So, but yes, at other venues, yes, for sure.
Just looking out for the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, the space, that's what,
But for venues that didn't have buffets, like what if you don't have space to plate? That's a lot more staff coming in to put plates down. Or for a venue who was allowing guests to bring in their food and let their family serve it, because there are venues and facilities out there, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's so many things that again, nobody wants to talk about it, but everybody wants to start making decisions on running a business during this time. Mm-hmm. The clients won't, if a client's getting text, where's the new contract? Are they even signing a new contract? That's scarier to me. If she's like, oh yeah, my wedding's going on in 2 more weeks, we have to sit down and have these which that's time. We go back to this whole, the deposits, and we've already planned these weddings. They've already passed. Obviously we didn't do them. it is our duty as a venue owner, as it is my duty to sit down with my clients and not charge them for that time. It may be 30 minutes, it may be 45 minutes. For some couples, it may be an hour because they just don't understand. Some people have never even read what the new rules and regulations are. But it is our duty to do that, to present the new options, and then they have to sign based on the new options. If they say no, that's a whole nother topic. What if a client comes and sits down with me and said, no, Gio, I don't want that. I want my money back. That probably will happen. They're like, we're going to cancel the wedding. Well, by contract stated, if you cancel your wedding, you don't get your money back. That's the reality of it. But it's like either you wait and we wait till this second wave or the rest of this year, or you have your wedding at 25% capacity with these rules and regulations. At this point, in my eyes, there is no black and white. Because the minute we do, or it's all black and white, there's no gray area. Because the minute we go gray is the minute we all get shut down.
I got a couple comments over here.
Let's do it.
Bring it on.
So Rebecca says substitution is okay, but probably can just change up the price. But probably can just change the prices of signed contracts. So it looks like it's more of a substitution thing than anything else. Let's see.
So substituting at the same cost is what she's saying. Like we can sub it at the same cost. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Ian says maybe I'm reading the minimum health protocol wrong, but states that if a buffet is offered, venue employees and/or contractors serve the food to the attendees.
Okay, can you say that all again? Because there's a lot of reverb coming.
Yeah, there's some.
Through.
Did you do something, Gio?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So he said that if a buffet is ordered, the venue employees and/or contractors serve the food to the attendees.
But not in a buffet line. Like they go serve it.
Yeah, they serve it buffet to the guest itself.
At their table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Or
they can
to the guests. Like they come up to the buffet line, and the attendee or contractor from the catering company scoops it and serves it to the guests.
It's as of now, it's stated in the restaurant guidelines that is not allowed.
Okay.
So it is stated that. So it's either they can still have the buffet set up.
He said it doesn't specify no buffets.
Okay.
Food must be delivered to the guests at their tables.
Yes, that's it. So they can still have a buffet line, but the guests cannot get up to go get served at the buffet line. But you can have your staff just be plating it out and then taking it. It's just like serving plate to plate. Totally. That's totally allowed. But the guests cannot get up from their tables and go form a buffet line. So maybe we should specify it that way. You can set up the buffet where staff grabs the plates and takes it and serves it to the guest. But guests cannot get up unless that was the whole thing with the bar. You have the feet on the ground or the X's on the ground, and you only allow like 4 to 6 people at a time.
So it's like a buffet line, but yet, you know what I mean?
It's
they're
like
6 feet apart from each other, and
no lines can form. Like, yes. And then they get it. Christy.
That'll take like 3 hours to serve everybody.
For sure. That doesn't make sense. All right. I have Christy saying, to give the perspective of a wedding guest. I have a few weddings coming up. Number one, I would feel 100% more comfortable in attending a wedding and going to a venue that verified and that we're following all the rules. So she's saying that that's the only way she would attend a wedding. April mentioned communication is more important than ever. It's the job of the planner and the bride to communicate all the new rules in advance to the guest before travel, etc. So I know my temperature is going to be checked, what's taken at the door, distance regulation. The planner work is going to have to double, no doubt. So then does the planner charge more money? This is a great point. So having guests drop out last minute is a huge cost for couples.
I think that in general, the cost of weddings is going to go up regardless, right? That's the fact of the matter. Yeah.
Well, overall, in general, events and weddings under our new normal is going to change. And I think that's obviously what we're saying is change is going to have to come. And there's different sides of how all that has to happen. but these are all really good things to definitely think about because, yes, the responsibility, how can I say this? We are the experts because we've been doing this for years and this is our jobs, our career. This is what our interest, this is what our passion is to create amazing events for our clients.
Mhm.
And I agree, that's going to start with places like this to talk about all of these fine, wonderful points moving forward because each and every one of them is important. I think the frustrating part is that not everybody's on the same page as far as how to move forward. And that's going to create a little bit of a roadblock moving forward or just a bumpy road. But that doesn't mean we can't all get on the same page so that it's kind of like, let's put it this way. Let's just think about the wedding industry right now. In general, the venues, they offer the 30 minutes to an hour worth of a ceremony and then a 4-hour reception. That's pretty standard. You don't go to different venues and like, oh no, we do 10 hours. No, we do, it's like, no, it's pretty much standard so that when a DJ gets booked or a photographer gets booked, then you pretty much know how many hours, what the segments. I think just moving forward, it's just going to make sense that we all pretty much get on that same page too, as far as, the regulations for staffing, how much, how many staffs you're really going to need. What is it going to cost to have attendance? What's it going to cost to do the waivers? What is it going to, like moving forward, everybody has a really good general understanding of what all this means.
So I have a really crazy unleashed question, right? I'm gonna like it kind of it's like a oh Lord, like a oh, right? And obviously we have vendors in the chat group and we got some brides and stuff like that, right? For those couples, right, that have rescheduled their wedding to a future date, right? That now, right, obviously we have new pricing and new contracts. Do the vendors take a hit on that couple, or does a couple have to pay the new price for the new safety? What do
Okay, I'll answer that because this is what's going to happen. Because they're not going to have the 100% guest count that they wanted. That money will translate into going into the whatever the costs are for the vendors. It should just and I don't again now if it's something like I've already kind of done this with the couples that I have now, like looking at where we're at, like they're like, oh, are we going to get any money back? Honestly, they're probably not, and I don't think there's going to be much more of a fee, but there may be still a little bit more fee, depending again on what happens with the next. I would say 8 to 12 weeks is really going to be the new test of what the weddings are going to look like. So the people who are testing it, because this is what it is, people who are opening, they are the test for us who aren't opening it right away. So I don't think it will be more, but I don't think they're going to get any money back. That's for sure. And whatever, if it's 25 guests, 50 guests, 100 guests, that money is going to roll into it. Now, if you already had a wedding of 50 people, which this is what I'm dealing with, yes, they're going to pay more money because they already paid at the 50 at the base. Now we're talking 50, which is my max capacity of 25, and then the additional. But I think if you explain it correctly and you have an educated conversation face-to-face with your clients, just like Chrissy said, and that this is for the safety of your family, your guest, and we are going to help you along the way, make sure that happens with your wedding planner, with us. I do not see any pushback. I don't see anybody going, oh no, I'm not going to pay for attendance. No, I don't want people to take, because then you can't have your wedding. Like that's what's going to happen. A client can say no to us, but it states right here that this is how we have to run our business.
Well, like Lewis said, though, the thought process of who really is responsible goes back to who's responsible, who's going to really, and do the wedding professionals, they're absorbing that cost. But Lewis, I want to add one more throw to your question that Gio and I have brought up in our previous podcast, and I'll bring it up again. For the person who's rescheduled, your vendors and venue have already lost money with your rescheduling. So if you were supposed to get married on April 1st and that didn't happen, and you completely rescheduled to 2021 April, then that vendor who reserved that date for you, that cost, even though your wedding did not happen, it's still a loss of income. And now you're moving that date to another date. and now you're scheduled for that. So now that, imagine that vendor, even though they only are doing one wedding supposedly for you, it's 2 dates that got reserved. So it's almost like you got 2 weddings for the price of one. So they're already, all vendors in the wedding industry have already taken a loss. So now moving forward, whether it's the venues having to do more staffing or the catering or whatever, that's an additional loss they're going to take if they absorb that because of, well, now they have to get more staff members and they have to do whatever it is. It's more and more and more cost. And I'm just bringing that up. I'm not saying who should absorb that or not. It's just one more point to that absorption of lost finances.
Yeah, that's a great, and I think that definitely is a great point because number one, it's time on our ends. You know what I mean? That much more time we have to accommodate to the client, and we want to accommodate to them as much as possible. And then understanding that we took a loss, understanding that they took a loss. So it all goes back to that very well, clear, educated, you know what I mean, delivery from a vendor to the client to say, hey, look, you know what I mean? We have to almost treat each client case by case basis. We obviously have all of our new rules, standards, and guidelines, but I think that, you know what I mean, there's there's going to be a lot of special cases for sure. So, you know what I mean? You have a client where she paid 100% full cash a couple months ago, and now she rescheduled it, and she's lowering her guest counts, and now she wants some of that money back because
right. But if you deliver it correctly and you understand, like, I mean, and it is going to be, these are the people going to be here. This is what we're doing now. This is also more money for the food. Like, and they will, if you're just going to say, we're just going to charge you more and not tell you why, well, of course, a couple's going to get pissed.
Yeah.
But if you sit down and again, why Yvette and I started this whole group, literally the week that this was happening with COVID, is to educate both. We're here to stand strong for our community in the wedding industry because it's very important to us to stand up for ourselves and that people know, like, we're local. So yeah, all this support local and like we are those people, but it's also very important to educate couples going forward with the new norm. And this will be the new norm unless people don't follow the rules. And nobody wants to hear this, but we could get shut down again. The possibilities are extremely high because of the people who don't want to play by the rules. So do you think we all want to be in the situation with 100 more couples in the fall? Hell no.
No.
Hell no. So when people are telling me and I see, I just booked my wedding for December of 2020 with 200 people, shame on all of those people who are letting that couple think that that's happening.
Yeah.
Because it's not. And I've said it again. I'd rather be wrong. Somebody can come back and tell me, Gio, all of your podcasts were stupid. Like, you didn't know what you were talking about. I'd rather you say that versus I didn't warn you guys, because it takes that few percentage. We're living it to ruin it for all of us. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of venues, a lot of businesses cannot make a second season of this. We won't make a second season of this. And it's not fair. So for us, for all of you who are being part of Uncut and Unleashed, I think it's really important. I know it's hard. I know we all know it's hard, but we are here to help and we are here to educate and we are here to embrace the change and create the new norm. That's what we're here for. And if you haven't seen any of our other podcasts, Yvette knows I am extremely passionate about education. And I always thought that the wedding industry lacked it, not because nobody wants to do it. It's a lot of work. Nobody wants to show you the true colors of what we do. We're bleeding right now. All of us are bleeding and we have families and we have multiple businesses. And yes, I have to get creative. And no, I'm not taking a break, but this is the reality that we live in. And if we want the industry to move forward, we have to change it together.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So that being said, I actually have been taking some notes and from this podcast and the group we were in last Friday. So just as always, I am going to write something up and put it in our Uncut and Unleashed Facebook group and our podcasting. It'll go under the units. So I definitely welcome everybody to join that group because we're going to keep updating resources, information, these kinds. I think this was great. I would love to have more podcast, just opening it up to whoever. If someone has suggestions, if someone has more comments, we want to hear them. But because what I think is really important, and I know Gio and I definitely feel this way, and I'm sure Lewis does too. He's now our I don't know, I was going to say mascot, ambassador for being on here with us. He did it. Like you said, it's all for education, for communication, and for everybody just having. What I love about this group, it's not going to be all about the vendors, and it's not just going to be all about our clients. It's meeting in the middle and everybody understanding and everybody having a voice as far as what their concerns are moving forward. There are great concerns that our clients have moving forward. So the other thing I want to add in is that one of the resources that is in our group under units is the description of how to plan moving forward, and we called it planning A through D. So if at all, when you're listening to this, you're like, well, you guys sound like Debbie Downers. I mean, how in the world am I supposed to even plan a wedding moving forward? You can. We're not saying not to. We want the wedding industry to move forward. We want people to be getting married. So we have that plan A through D of how to actually plan a wedding moving forward. And we have clients that are already following it. They're finding success with it. And we want to welcome not just the wedding industry, but we want to welcome obviously the couples getting married, that they can follow that process. So please get on our Facebook group, and that's yours free to download and to have. And Lewis, I could see you doing this. So what was there another comment?
Yeah. I was like, that little kid in the classroom, like, ooh.
Mr. Kata.
So let's see. Nadine was like, yeah, I've been having a lot of my clients sign addendums. You know what I mean? Made a comment like having them sign a new contract. I think an addendum would really kind of be the best way to proceed with that. I got a message saying, well, what about family style servings, to where I think that might go away, to where you're taking a bowl and you're passing it to the next person or whatever. I think that's
as of right now,
it's a private message, so I don't want to.
No, it's fine, and it's available on the governor's report under restaurants rules and regulations. It as of now, it's not allowed. And again, because we are testing a reopen. Like, we are literally in the middle of reopening our state. So it will be a test, and the next few months are going to really call the shots going forward. And I don't think we're going to move backwards from this. If you think about it, we are not, why we're here is because of how we were not practicing cleanliness and ensuring that everything was 100% during these weddings. So I don't think anyone's going to go back and be like, yeah, I want self-serving stations, and I want people that haven't washed their hands to go grab their water, and then I'm going to go grab my water, and then, whatever, buffet and self-serve. Like, it's just not going to be a thing. And I think it's just, again, we're going to test it. We're in the testing stages. Be patient with us. That's very important. Be patient and be kind. I see how people are talking to each other, how they're responding, how we're not responding. I mean, I've tried with my clients, give me time. I'm still reviewing this with my lawyers. I'm still making sure that this is the right decision for me as a venue owner, because I'm not going to put, again, anyone's safety or life in jeopardy because I need to make money. Yeah. That is not why I'm in business for. So when I'm not, I do respond to my clients within 24 hours, but if it's not what you want, or, hey, I want to transfer this and do this, we can't make those decisions right now, because we have to make sure that everything is clear. We don't want to keep on going back and changing and changing and changing. So be patient and be kind with us, and reach out to all of us. We are here. We are all wedding experts. We're coaches. Whatever you want us to be, we are here for you. Yvette and I have said that. If you like what we're doing and you needed us to explain it to someone else, we are doing free 30-minute sessions. So anything with other venue owners, with other vendors, if vendors want to call us, this is what we created the group for. And we have it all. Again, if you don't want to talk to us, you can just go print it out. Everything's in our unit section in our group. So you can plan a wedding from home. You can plan weddings A through D. You can look at where we're getting all of our information from. All of that's available in the group, and it's completely free.
I think it's for me, it's really good that there's individuals like yourselves, to where you're being very, very proactive about this time, and really kind of like making an impact in the community, and hoping that it'll ripple effect everywhere else. Because like for me, like I can't stay still. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep myself busy. I don't already reorganize my inventory, moved to a new software, restructured company, did my taxes for the past 20 years. Finally, just kidding.
I love it.
But you see what I'm saying? I've gone live on, you know what I mean, on Facebook like a lot of times, right? In that hot ass garage. So now I've moved to the office. So, but you know what I mean? It's very, very important that we, you know what I mean, try to be ahead of the game and to spread that knowledge to other people. So that way, whenever things get back and start rolling again, right? There's vendors that are not left behind. But I mean, if they choose to be left behind and not be educated, then it's kind of like now it's a matter of like separating, well, call it the men from the boys or the women from the girls or whatever you want to say. But it's now it's survival of the fittest, right? Because honestly, we've seen it already. There's a lot of businesses that have shut down already because of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, and it's like it's very, very unfortunate. Like for me, it's like, I had to furlough like all my employees and whatever not, right? And I can't bring them all back all at the same time because my cash flow is not the same as it was before. So it's like shit sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said it in the post. I've worked, and built this thing for almost 20 years, and then all of a sudden just everything just at a halt, and I'm like, fuck, man,
Yeah. Well, we will have this on watch parties, on our Facebook group, on our personal pages. I will also add this to IGTV on Instagram so that you guys can see it there. And we will actually have it be converted into a podcast too. So you can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or anywhere that you see Uncut and Unleashed. We will be on every Monday too. So if this is something that you liked, us having an additional guest or ambassador, Lewis is welcome to come anytime. Any topic you want to hear about, we can talk about. So please let us know. I appreciate you both because I know that again, this is not easy. It's a hard place to be in, but I think it's great what we're doing and just serving both sides of the community. So thank you very much for this. Anything else y'all want to add before we close out?
I just want to say a positive note. I think that we all have the power within ourselves to make the wedding industry even better than it was before, and to take something that has really affected not just our businesses, but our clients and people. One of people's most important. Here we go again. What? Go ahead, Lewis.
No, sorry. I had some people just walked in, and I just wanted to make sure,
that they knew. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm in front of millions of people right now, so I just,
Well, we have to get used to these hand signals. This earlier was like interruption. Anyway, that we have the power within ourselves to make the Houston wedding industry better and greater than it was, and not to let these sour grapes ruin everything. That working together, we can still plan some amazing weddings here in the Houston area. So I'm excited. If you guys need anything, call Gio and I. Let us know what we can do to keep serving our community.
Yep. Thank you. Lewis, anything else before we go? I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, God.
I definitely would say everybody that's listening and had put them on the comments, all their questions, concerns, and stuff like that. I appreciate it. Right, there is definitely some great things that are just flowing through my mind right now that I'm not going to say now, but I'm gonna just put the bait out there and say just wait until the next Uncut and Unleashed, which I would love to join. And let me tell you, it's worth listening to for sure. And what y'all do this every Monday, right?
Every
Monday. So hopefully, you know what I mean. I come on here next Monday. Of course, if the ladies invite me again. But got some great topics to discuss. That's
put them in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody that's not watching live, put it on the replay. This is what we're here for. So thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Yvette.
Got you.
Thank you. All right, bye.